It is no secret that the early 1990s gave us action movies bigger, louder, and as dead serious as possible. Then along came Hot Shots. It took Hollywood's biggest action tropes and flipped them on their head, turning every cliché into pure comedy. The result was a parody, so over the top, it made us laugh at the chaos, while showing just how ridiculous those movies really were. And today, we're breaking down 15 facts about Hot Shots you probably never knew.
Admiral, you dare call yourself an American? Well, that gets my panties in a bunch.
1. Leslie Nielsen said no. Before Lloyd Bridges stepped into the role of Admiral Benson, the part was offered to Leslie Nielsen. At the time, Nielsen was already enjoying being the king of parody because of Airplane and The Naked Gun. So he passed up the opportunity and even joked that he had done enough stupid movies. Lucky for us, because this opened the door for Bridges, whose clueless but dead serious admiral became one of the film's standout performances. And that's how Nielsen's refusal turned out to be a blessing in disguise, allowing Bridges to carve out his own comedy legacy.
Well, that gives us about 25 minutes. Go step out for a burger.
2. The aircraft carrier was a model. Do you remember that scene where the pilot set off for the Lazy Crow operation? Well, what if I tell you that the mighty SSS's wasn't a Navy vessel at all? Then what was it? Just a detailed miniature filmed against forced perspective to look massive. The production team used clever lighting and low camera angles to sell the illusion of ocean waves and steel plating. What seemed like this massive setup could actually be set up on a dining table very easily. So, in true parody fashion, the joke works even better, knowing the ship was a toy-sized Hollywood magic. Honestly, the model carrier looked so good, I'm convinced some Navy recruiters were tempted to enlist it. 3. Triple bad omens. Pete, dead meat. Thompson's farewell to his wife might be the funniest doomed character send-off in comedy. In less than a minute, the filmmakers piled on 3 superstitions and made it all the more memorable. A black cat, a broken mirror, and walking under a ladder. Any horror fan will tell you that all these in the same place is basically signing a death certificate with your own right hand. But being the daredevil that he is, Pete probably refused to sign insurance until after his flight. The gag is so over the top that it becomes a parody, not just of Top Gun's dramatic farewells, but of every Hollywood scene with a typical "he is not going to make it" moment. 4. The longest loan repayment. One of the film's funniest jokes that you could have missed if you dared to blink at the wrong time is Topper Harley telling Ramada he's going to pay off his destroyed fighter jet at $10 a week. It may feel like a silly throwaway gag, but some fans did some quick calculations and figured that the loan would take roughly 5,769 years to clear. That means Harley's descendants would still be paying installments well into the next several millennia, and that's what you call classic parody humor, a tiny joke hidden in plain sight that becomes even more ridiculously absurd as soon as you really think it through. 5. Lloyd Bridges nearly stole the movie. Although it was marketed as Charlie Sheen's big parody vehicle, veteran actor Lloyd Bridges ended up stealing many scenes as Admiral Benson. His delivery, which was full of unintentional absurdity, easily turned simple lines into laugh-out-loud moments. The running jokes about Benson's missing body parts were a treat. Not only a delightful watch, they became fan favorites and were quoted for years after the film's release. Since Bridges was already respected as a dramatic actor, this role revitalized his career in comedy all over again, and he continued to be a shining star well into his career. Like many fans, do you also still consider him the movie's funniest character? Let us know in the comments below. 6. A box office hit. Parodies don't usually rake in blockbuster numbers, but of course, this superb masterpiece proved to be an exception. With a budget under $30 million, it soared to more than $180 million worldwide. An impressive haul for a comedy where the leading man cooks bacon on a jet engine, isn't it? In the summer of 1991, it even held its own against big-budget thrillers. Although critics had mixed thoughts, it was the audience that turned out in droves. Do you want to know what earned the film its rightful status as the parody royalty of the 90s? Look out for fact number 13. 7. Charlie Sheen's career pivot. By 1991, Charlie Sheen was mostly known for serious roles like Chris Taylor in Platoon and Bud Fox in Wall Street. Surely taking on a zany parody was a gamble for him, but it paid off big time. Sheen's straight-faced delivery of ridiculous lines was so good that he became a comedy star almost overnight. Can you imagine that without Hot Shots, we might never have gotten his wonderful performance in 2.5 Men? 8. A direct spoof of Top Gun. At its core, Hot Shots was designed as a parody of Top Gun, released in 1986. With his brooding stares, cocky aerial maneuvers, and macho camaraderie, Topper Harley was an attempt to directly mirror Tom Cruise's Maverick. Even Valeria Golino's Ramada riffed on Kelly McGillis's instructor role, but with exaggerated romance and absurd melodrama. The filmmakers carefully recreated Top Gun's iconic aesthetics, then twisted every detail into comedic perfection. Embracing the original film's seriousness, Hot Shots turned its parody into both an homage and a hilarious send-up of Hollywood's action excess. 9. Prosthetic torso and a hose. The unforgettable olive-in-the-belly scene is one of its kind. Apart from just simple timing, the crew went all up and beyond to create a prosthetic torso with a small pressure hose hidden inside a fake navel. Yes, a fake body part to ace that gag. This clever device made it possible for the olive to be launched with enough force to make the trick work on camera. Valeria Golino pulled off the rest herself by catching the olive with her bare hands, and guess what? It took only 2 takes to nail this hilarious moment. 10. Jim Abrahams' direction. Jim Abrahams, one of the masterminds behind the film Airplane, carried over his unique directing philosophy to Hot Shots as well. He believed that comedy works best when everyone plays it straight. On set, he almost never laughed during takes, even when Lloyd Bridges was spouting nonsense about losing both his knees. This wasn't because he didn't find it funny, but because he knew the humor would land harder if it was treated with absolute seriousness. The result? A movie that feels like a dramatic war epic until a rubber chicken shows up. 11. Zucker, Abrahams, and Zucker. While we are marveling over his brilliant direction, did you know Jim Abrahams actually co-founded a whole new style? The comedy style that is now known as the ZAZ brand. David and Jerry Zucker, together with Jim Abrahams, were known for their slapstick comedy in movies like Ruthless People and the Kentucky Fried Movie. Abrahams carried this style forward with rapid-fire gag tradition and layers upon layers of hundreds of visual and verbal jokes per minute. So much overlapping at once that the viewers often said that the humor was so dense that every rewatch uncovered another set of jokes they had missed the first time around. 12. Cary Elwes almost said no. Cary Elwes, previously beloved for The Princess Bride, initially hesitated to take the role of rival pilot Kent Gregory. He worried that moving into parody might pigeonhole him as a comedic actor. But once he read the script, he realized the genius wasn't in over-the-top antics, but in delivering absurd lines with deadpan sincerity. His competitive tension with Charlie Sheen, mirroring Maverick and Iceman, became a highlight. Ironically, the role only broadened Elwes' range, showing he could ace both heroic romance and full-throttle ridiculousness without missing a beat. 13. A sequel in the works. The success didn't just please audiences, it guaranteed a sequel. Released in 1993, Hot Shots Part 2 pushed parody even further, this time mocking the Rambo-style action films and other 80s blockbusters. The film gleefully exaggerated violence and turned body counts into punchlines. The sequel still carved out its own reputation for being bold and ridiculous in its own ways. Together, the two movies defined parody in the 90s. 14. Shot in just 10 weeks. Are you ready for a wild production fact? Hot Shots was shot in only about 10 weeks. For a parody stuffed with complex jet stunts, explosions, slapstick set pieces, that's remarkably fast. It was normal for many big-budget films of the era to take double or triple the time that it did for your favorite parody. The compressed schedule kept cast and crew sharp, forcing quick decision-making and tighter execution of jokes. This relentless pace helped give the movie its manic rhythm, where gags fly faster than Topper Harley's jets. And that's how you know that time constraints sometimes turbocharge creativity instead of stifling it. 15. A lasting legacy of spoofs. Parody films may have fizzled out in the 2000s, but Hot Shots remains a defining example of how clever spoofs should be done. The sharp writing, visual slapstick, and straight-faced absurdity still resonates with comedy fans decades later. The movie has been referenced in pop culture countless times, even appearing in animated shows like Family Guy and Robot Chicken. It remains a gold standard, proving that when parody is crafted with both wit and silliness, it leaves a lasting mark that outlives the trends of its genre.
Is a highly advanced avionics and weapons package designed for speed.
Who knew parody could be this inventive? Hot Shots didn't just mock blockbusters, but rewrote comedy with so much imagination and guts that they went ahead for a part 2. Head over to our channel to know even crazier facts about Hot Shots, Part 2, where every little detail was built for lasting laughs. Subscribe to our channel because we're sure the next movie we dive into is also at the top of your list.